Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. One person from our Northwest zone who tested positive for COVID-19 has died. It was someone in the 80 to 80 plus age category. There are 211 new cases, including 16 in the Northwest. The immediate Lloydminster area has 6 new cases and 37 active cases. There are 1,493 active cases province-wide. 156 people are in hospital, with 11 in the Northwest, including 2 in intensive care in our zone. More than 63,000 vaccine doses have been given. 85% of long-term care residents have received their first dose, with 49% fully vaccinated. Members of the Lloydminster Youth Council spent part of Kindness Wednesday showing some love and support to seniors in Lloydminster by visiting care homes across the city. Jace Mackey has more on the visits and what it meant for the seniors after a year of isolation.
In a typical year, the Lloydminster Youth Council would spend Kindness Wednesday taking seniors out in the community for themed activities. But this year, that wasn't an option. Seniors' homes in Lloydminster have been locked down to most visitors since the onset of the pandemic in March. The Youth Council knew they still needed to find a way to bring some joy to isolated seniors.
They're understanding how much we've all lost, especially our seniors, through this past year. It's been a year for us. And just to show some support and just to say, hey, we're here, we know you're there, we haven't forgotten you, we care about you.
The group gathered with signs and balloons for a window visit. They also brought cupcakes and cards with the hope of uplifting the spirits of the residents.
It's just a good opportunity to bring them some joy. It's been a long winter for them, and with COVID and everything and not getting lots of visitors, you could definitely see the smiles on all their faces and the joy it brought them.
Youth Council member Chloe Robertson personally understands what the seniors are going through, as she's had limited interaction with her great-grandparents who are living at a seniors' home in Provost.
We did a window visit on New Year's Day, and that's all. I haven't got to see them or hug them, so definitely know the feeling of not being able to hug people you love.
During the pandemic, the staff at the Pioneer Lodge have organized small group activities or held bingo through a TV system to entertain the residents. But when kids are able to visit, it's always a highlight.
There's nothing like seeing kids. They love seeing children. It reminds them of their grandchildren, and it puts a smile on their face every time.
Just to see their faces in the windows and see them smiling and waving, it's just a good feeling in your heart to know that you made someone smile today.
For Primetime Local News, I'm Jace Mackey.
Earlier today at École Saint-Thomas, the students and staff were celebrating Carnaval, but this year the annual event looks a bit different. The event, which usually takes place during French Education Week, was moved to this week as they hoped for warmer weather. And that's what they got, which helped the school offer some outdoor activities in a safe manner.
And instead of having it in one afternoon, they're actually having it over the week. So we've noticed as well that there's some COVID wins, as we will call them, in planning for this kind of carnival, because there are things that we would have never maybe tried to do before. So, for example, la tire is maple syrup on snow. This year we adjusted it. We put it on plates, individual servings of la tire. And now we realize how much better that is, actually, and how much the kids are enjoying being able to work with their own serving.
With COVID-19, the activities were spread out throughout the week in order to follow social distancing rules. The school brought in speakers from Quebec over Zoom for different lessons.
We've probably had some of the best upper years workshops that we've ever had. We invited a slam poetry artist in, and the grade 6s and 7s are writing slam poetry in French virtually with this artist. And of course it's personnel dependent, but this artist Stella is fantastic, and she is engaging the kids and giving them like the desire and the motivation to want to write in French.
Therese says at the beginning of the year she was determined to host Carnaval because it not only brings the school together but enhances the students' interest in French.
The kids really enjoy all of the playing in French, which for us brings the language alive. That's why this week is so important to us. And so yeah, we're having a great time.
They're also taking part in activities such as wooden spoons and French African dancing. An evening of celebration and fun is coming up in March for International Women's Day, where residents can buy tickets to either go in person or attend virtually. We go to Shelby Clark for more details.
I'm joined here today with Jill Kelly with Red Bicycle Communications. How are you?
Good, thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm very good. Yes, of course. I wanted to talk with you about this Yes She Can evening coming up on March 8th for International Women's Day. Can you tell me what this is all going to be involved in this?
For sure. So like you said, it's International Women's Day on Monday, March 8th. And so we want to do a little celebration while obviously sticking true to the Saskatchewan government's rules and regulations around COVID. So we are going to be hosting the evening at Spiro's, and it will be a series of live performances, which is going to be in the form of a couple presentations. And so we will have three speakers. One is Ricky Ducharme, and she will be talking about mindfulness during a pandemic, which of course is quite relevant today. We will have Lindsay Sedgwick from Can Do Auto and Lube, and she will be talking about thriving in a male-dominated industry, which is obviously, again, super relevant to not only our community, but she's been in the automobile industry for quite some time herself. So again, an amazing speaker. And we will also be having Laura Lee Marin, who is one of our city council members, as you know, and she will be talking, her presentation is called Uncomfortable, the Power Within, and it's really about advocating for yourself.
And how long do residents have to buy tickets until?
So on Friday, March 5th is when the seating in the restaurant will be closed. And then if you want to join us online, we'll have the live stream, which is available today to be purchased as well. And that will go right up until 6:30 on Monday, March 8th, which is the evening itself. So there's lots of time. And again, if people aren't comfortable in a restaurant just yet, then that's totally fine. I invite you and encourage you to join us online as well.
Perfect. And how was it planning this evening throughout COVID-19?
As you can imagine, it's been a bit stressful. We definitely need to celebrate women now more than ever. It's been a rough year for everyone, and so we want to give a little bit of like a silver lining to it, and to help women thrive and to help women rise during this time. So we've done a lot of research on it. I want to make sure everyone knows that this is 100% following the Saskatchewan government's rules and regulations outlined for COVID safety. Every table will be a limit of 4 per table, and you will have your distancing again between, I think it's between 2 and 3 meters. If you've ever been to Spiro's, they are awesome at that. They have everything already established and in place for COVID safety, of course. So we take it very seriously. Spiro's restaurant takes it very seriously. And it will be as if you're going out to any restaurant and having a live performance, whether it's a guitar person, a guitar player playing their music, or piano, or what have you. We're just having a presentation. So.
And why does Red Bicycle Communications believe having this evening is so important, especially to the women in the community right now?
We're big advocates of building women up and raising women up for a number of reasons. One, obviously, I'm the owner of Red Bicycle Communications, and I'm a woman. And it's kind of shocking, actually. The more research you do, the more you figure out how underrepresented women are in the business community at large. So one of the shocking facts that I recently learned was across our nation, about 98% of businesses are owned by small businesses, or are small businesses, pardon me. And of that, the amount of women who run them, and not like a husband-wife duo, just a sole woman boss who owns it, is shockingly low. I would have assumed naturally like 40% maybe. It's 16%. So we really want to get that number up. And I think women need to be in rooms where we're in every room. We need to facilitate the conversation, and we want to help women get there and help women to see their value, and above all, to celebrate all the things that women do for our community and for their own individual networks as well.
And is there anything else you want to add for residents to know about?
Yeah, so there will be tickets online where you can purchase them for the in-restaurant evening, or online where you can stream it yourself from your comfort of your home and probably from the comfort of your bed. And with that ticket also comes a Spiro's meal, so you can pick it up as well. And just regardless of if the government changes their rules and regulations between now and then, which might happen, you never know during a pandemic. So we will continue though with the evening. It'll just be streamed online instead of the restaurant portion should rules change. So again, we're taking all the precautions that we need to, and everything is being done to the letter. And we have both Red Bicycle as well as Sparrows have contacted the Saskatchewan Health Authority, and we have the go ahead to proceed with our plans. And so it has been outlined and approved.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Jill.
Thank you for having me.
Now our Connor Chan will take a look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks a lot there, Jasmine. Looking outside right now, a little bit cloudier than yesterday. We did see a little bit colder temperatures. We saw around that -6 to -10 range this morning as we're going to get a little bit colder heading into the weekend as we're just shy from Friday. We're very close to the weekend here. With 1 degree right now is what we're sitting at right now with the wind kind of picking up. Makes it feel a little bit more around that -5, -7 range. But as we take a look at some other temperatures in the area, a little bit warmer as we make our way west there. 7 degrees in Edmonton, 5 for Vegreville. A little bit colder also up in the northern areas in Bonnyville. Cold Lake at 0 degrees, -1 for Pierceland. A little bit warmer in Lac La Biche and Wainwright, sitting at 4 degrees right now with 3 there for Provost and Macklin as well. 0 degrees for Maidstone and North Battleford. And then we see also some minuses in northern areas of Saskatchewan there, and -3 in Green Lake and -5 in Isle of Cross. Now here's a look at the satellite radar map. Not a whole lot of precipitation, snow flurry activity in our area quite yet. It won't come till probably around that 2 a.m. later on is when we start to see some flurries in our area, because we are going to have a higher chance of seeing some snow into tomorrow and overnight into the area, as we see here on the map as we take a look at some in-depth look into North Battleford. -7 overnight with those flurries coming in then, and then going into tomorrow at -6 as the daytime high with those flurries. Once again, continuing on, we see the same results there in Cold Lake, just a little bit colder at -14 for overnight, going into -14 as well for the daytime high tomorrow. With the wind, it could pick up, it could be a little bit colder with that added wind chill, so we won't get it a little bit, like I said, in Lloydminster around that 2 to 3 a.m. mark is when we could start to see some snow, but that'll carry over into tomorrow with that daytime high of -9. And as we take a look here, the wind chill could make it feel more like -21 there on Friday, -12 heading into Saturday with that wind chill. Kind of same results as we saw on Friday with the temperature we can get from the wind chill. So a little bit of a -20 weekend if you add the wind chill as a factor. -8 on Sunday with a possible chance of snow. Once again there with that low there of -16 to start the day off. That is a first look at your weather forecast. We'll have more primetime local news after the break.
Welcome back. A local fundraising group is using an online auction to help support families impacted by breast cancer. Tate Lakecraft has more.
Joining me currently is the president and co-founder of I Love Alberta Boobs, a local fundraising group dedicated to the fight against breast cancer. Brandy Schwenk, thanks so much for doing this.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So we're here today to talk about your Rock for a Cure fundraiser, where you guys are auctioning off little prize packs on Facebook in an effort to raise some money for breast cancer. Now, in the past, this event has looked a little bit different, as you've typically brought in some live acts, some musical acts to perform. Could you just tell me a little bit about the past as well as how this year's version of the fundraiser is working?
Yeah, so I think it was about 11 years ago. I'm losing track of time now. It's been so many years, but we started a rock concert just as a way to raise money to help fight breast cancer. And it grew into this incredible event. Like, people love, they look forward to it every year. And in fact, our band we've had the last couple of years literally looks forward to it as well. I just love them. But yeah, so we usually like to do a live event. We have a silent auction, 50-50, and it's a full night of just awesomeness, good food, good friends. And then like last year, we finished, it was February 29th. And then we all know the world shut down a couple weeks later. So we were so lucky to get it in. But yeah, so this year we tried planning, like maybe a more private, exclusive event. We were thinking about doing a live event. Like live streaming a recording. We tried a bunch of different options, and we really it was just getting to be really complicated and difficult, which is not something we want to do. So I saw a few other fundraisers a few months ago on Facebook that just did an online silent auction, and they raised a lot of money. And you know what? It's a really good way to bring the community together, right? Like people get to donate and feel good about what they're doing, and then people get to shop, which everybody loves. So
And who's donating these items that are being auctioned off on Facebook?
just a lot of random people. We've got lots of businesses. We've got lots of personal people. Um, I'll show you one thing here. So this is a Michael Kors bag. I know you're a man, you probably don't care, but for us women, this is a pretty big deal. This actually came from one of our past recipients. So she's passed, she's through her, she survived her treatments, she's doing really well, and she wanted to give back to us. So every year they donate, typically a Michael Kors bag, or I think one year was a Michael Kors watch, but that's just one of the people that help us, that donate these items.
And how is this money that's raised then put into use?
So a few years ago, we lost our co-founder to breast cancer. She fought very hard for many years. And while she was passing away, I was with her, and we realized that there was a deficit there. Provincial healthcare and other healthcare benefit programs don't cover things like food, hospital parking, which I didn't realize everybody had to pay when someone's dying. It was horrible. So we created the I Love Alberta Boobs Assistance Fund. So now this money goes directly to local families, and they can use it on anything they want. I mean, if they feel like they need a spa treatment, that's what they can use it for. If they need money for gas or for food or parking or what have you, as long as they're currently in treatment, this money goes to them. And right now we're able to do $1,000 per recipient. And that's 8 recipients a year, twice a quarter.
And for people who might be interested in checking out the page, maybe making some bids, where can they go?
It's called Rock for a Cure online auction. So just Google that, or even go to our Facebook page, I Love Alberta Boobs, and there'll be a link through there or a post about it, I think. But yes, we've got 750 people in the group right now. So if you want to join and get in on the bids, you want to do it now, sooner rather than later.
Thanks so much, Brandy.
Thank you.
Changes are coming to the Saskatchewan crop insurance program, with coverage reaching record levels in 2021. Eric Bay has more on the increase.
High commodity prices are raising Saskatchewan crop coverage by nearly $50 an acre this year to $273 an acre.
Over the last 10 years, the average coverage under the crop insurance has seen an increase of 47%. The average premium cost per dollar of coverage continues to decline.
As coverage increases, so will producers' premiums, up just over $1 an acre. When asked about the pandemic's role in the insurance changes, Minister Harpower said COVID had no effect on the government's decision.
We've had pretty good success over a number of years now, which as finance minister always makes me nervous because there's always that crop failure a year that's going to happen. But you know, this is standalone for what the production is for any given year.
It's forecasted to be a drier growing year in the province, but Saskatchewan Crop Insurance Corporation officials aren't concerned about any impact on producers' crops.
Even with drier growing conditions throughout the growing season, crops have done remarkably well. I think that is reflected in why we're able to offer that 20% premium reduction. So there's a lot that can happen between now and when crops get put in the bin. So don't really have a concern at this point because there's a lot of time and weather to come yet.
SCIC has also established a commercial vegetable program available for cabbage and pumpkin crops in 2021, with expansion planned in the future. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
Now we'll take a look at your egg prices. Tuesday morning saw a scare as Tiger Woods was in a single car collision. Evan Kenny has more on the situation and Tiger's legacy.
Tuesday morning, we all saw quite a scare as Tiger Woods was involved in a single vehicle collision, leaving him with non-life-threatening injuries. He then went into surgery on his legs later on into Tuesday. Joining me today to break all this down, including Tiger Woods' career, is Marty Wheaton from Wheaton Golf Services. Marty, thanks for taking this time.
Good to talk to you again, Evan.
Now, Marty, I guess just first things first, what was your reaction to this whole situation? And, when you first heard the news, what was your thoughts?
Well, we're starting to fire up here in the golf shop, and believe it or not, we were talking about this the day before it happened, because Tiger was in Riviera at the time, fresh off a new back surgery. Looking at him over interviews and everything, you could tell something was off. So it kind of took us back to the last surgery we seen him have, and they found him on the side of the road, heavily intoxicated for pain-killing abilities of the pills, and he didn't know whether he was in California or Florida. So that was the worry. And the day after, we seen the car crash, him coming from his tournament in Riviera that he hosts, the Genesis, and then gets in this accident. It just adds to the story of Tiger Woods, which is like watching a movie almost. It's one unbelievable happening after another.
Now, Marty, obviously, like you said, he's been in that car accident before, and, he's faced different, different adversity throughout his career, whether that be through injuries or with his personal life. But it seems like Tiger has always found a way to, come back and be able to play, or, come and even be able to win. Do you think that's a fair way to really just describe Tiger Woods as a whole? Is, no matter what that scenario is he's here to play or he's here to win?
Even if you don't go off the hype, Evan, of marketing or whatever the case may be, if you just look at the facts and the timeline of his life, of course, that's who Tiger Woods is. Like, I've never seen an athlete, and I follow all sports. This man is the reason why I even got into the game to begin with, is he showed me it was accessible. Being a young black man, obviously it'd be accessible for me. If he's winning championships, it looked like an untouchable sport when I was a kid. So he was the main reason why I even got into the game. And looking at what he's done over his career, from a kid to any adversity that he's faced, winning a U.S. Open on a broken leg, going through the scandal, coming back after 5 back surgeries. He was written off before. I never wrote that guy off once, knowing that over a 10-year span, people didn't think he was going to win. And then we seen a 2019 Masters win from Tiger that nobody was predicting.
Now, Marty, whether you're a fan of golf or not, it doesn't seem rather, everybody does know who Tiger Woods is. Does that sort of just in a nutshell explain how big he's been for the game of golf?
Yeah, certainly you have those guys that move the needle. And a lot of people compare him to an Arnold Palmer, right? He doesn't really have the nice standpoint that Arnold Palmer did. He was kind of a standoffish personality in his younger years, Tiger Woods. You can see him develop in his older years to being a guy that really helps the young guns on the tour, is more of a father figure for these guys now. But certainly out of the gates, he was more standoffish. But he moves the needle like an Arnold Palmer. He's a game changer as far as who golf can access now. It's looked at more of an accessible game with Tiger Woods being in it, and it's more of a mainstream game with Tiger Woods being in it.
Now, Marty, obviously Tiger tied for number 1 in tour wins with 82 and second in major wins, just behind the Golden Bear, as Tiger sits at 15 wins there. Now it's going to be tough, but out of all of these wins, do you have a favorite? I know for myself, what stands out is that 05 Masters fist pump has got to be up there. But then another cool one was, with the crowd walking with him on the Tour Championship back in 2018. Those stand out for me. Do you have maybe one or two that stand out as, the top tier for you?
Yeah, just the story of Tiger Woods just kept getting more and more unbelievable. Late 90s, early 2000s. In the year 2000, I think it was the 100th U.S. Open that they hosted at Pebble Beach, where he stomped the field by 15 shots. And I think that's probably the best golf that anybody's ever watched in their entire lives. That's one that stood out. Just the types of shots that he was hitting, you could tell it was just, he was on a different level than the other best players in the world were just fighting for second.
Yeah, from the time, in his early 20s until he's 43, winning that most recent Masters title, he truly has been dominant. And I know for myself as a fan, and I think I can say the same for you, we're all hoping he can make that recovery. If there's a guy who, could recover from this, it seems like Tiger Woods would be that guy. So hopefully we can see him back on the tour sooner than later, if never. So Marty, thank you very much for taking this time and joining me.
Thanks, Evan.
Now we're Connor Chan. We'll take another look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks a lot, Jasmine. Take a look right now, still sitting around that 1 to 2 mark right now as we kind of went up a little bit here in this, just since last time we did some weather chat here. As we look out west, still fairly warm for the most part. It is going to get a little bit colder into the next couple of days here, but 6 degrees in Edmonton right now. We see 5s down the line here in Whitecourt, Edson, and Rocky Mountain House. 4 degrees in Athabasca, 3 for Jasper and Red Deer right now, as we see 2 degrees also in Cold Lake. Looking out in Saskatchewan, still kind of cold as well. That's been the story a little bit here, where we've seen warm temperatures in Alberta and colder temperatures in Saskatchewan over the last several days. -4 in Meadow Lake with -3 for Prince Albert and Melfort, -1 in Saskatoon, and then 0 degrees for North Battleford. As we take a look here in northern Saskatchewan, fairly colder, as we have seen this before. We've seen this over the last couple of days. Uranium City and Stony Rapids close to that -30 range there. A little bit warmer as we go a little bit further down in the from the far north, that is, in the Lost and Buffalo Narrows, sitting at -4, -3 there for Flin Flon, -13 in Wollaston Lake, and -12 there in South End. Kind of similar up in the northern Alberta range here, -20s for high level, and for Chippewa and Fort McMurray sitting at -14 degrees, 1 degree in Slave Lake, and then 3 degrees there in Grand Prairie. Now taking a look here at southern Alberta, once again still in the positives here, 3 degrees for Lethbridge and Calgary, a little bit warmer in Medicine Hat at 6 degrees right now, -2 for Banff, and then 0 degrees in Coronation. And then we see minus temperatures once again in southern Saskatchewan, or actually in one area in southern Saskatchewan, in Kindersley, but still kind of just on the break-even point there. 0 degrees in Swift Current, 1 in Regina and Moose Jaw, and then we see 0s in Yorkton and Estevan. Now take a look across the rest of the country. We see 0 degrees also for Winnipeg as well, getting a little bit colder in Quebec City at -10, -1 in Toronto, 4 degrees for St. John's, and then -2 there in Halifax. Vancouver seeing some cloud coverage there. Same in Edmonton, as we did mention it, with the 6 degrees there, and that could result into some flurries making its way over here into the Lloydminster area, not until like that 2 to 3 a.m. range there. -31 all the way up in Yellowknife right now, and then -7 there in Whitehorse, as you see in the far top left of your screen, with that flurries, with some flurries, excuse me. And as I mentioned, we are going to get a little bit colder heading into the weekend, so -9 is our expected daytime high tomorrow. We'll see that in Marwayne as well. A little bit colder as we go up into the northern areas like Bonnyville and Cold Lake at -14 and -13 in Lac La Biche, -10 for Vermilion, -8 in Wainwright, -6 for North Battleford for tomorrow, -8 there in Maidstone, and then -11 there in St. Walburg. So here's a look at the next 7 days. We could see some snow, as I mentioned, and also Saturday we'll see a little bit colder temperatures, closer to the -25 with the added wind chill. More snow expected also on Sunday at -8, 1 degree on Monday with some cloud coverage continuing on as we start to get back to normal temperatures. -3 on Tuesday, -1 there on Wednesday, and then we'll have a nice 0 day there on Thursday. Lots of sun and cloud mixes in that week there, as well as we'll see that on Saturday as well. That's a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news after the break.
I'm here with Anita Eggink, a registered dietitian with Alberta Health Services, to learn more about a new online series aimed at improving heart health. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So to start, can you tell us a bit about these sessions and what participants will be learning?
Yeah, so pre-COVID-19, we were offering health education to about 28 communities across Central Zone. With the whole situation with the pandemic, we hit the ground running to switch our education from in-person to a virtual online option using Zoom. And so now the classes are being offered across the zone through that medium. And it's been really exciting to see the uptake of the education and the rapport and camaraderie people are building through virtual education in regards to managing their health.
Awesome. So, why is it important to be educated on heart health and be proactive as opposed to simply checking in with your doctor and then responding to their treatment?
Yeah, so, we know that when people are trying to make lifestyle changes, it's really important for them to develop their own knowledge about what their health condition is and what anyone with that health condition can do over time to better manage that health condition. So, building that knowledge piece is something that's important. There's so much misinformation available on the magical internet. So it's great to have the opportunity to provide accurate, reputable information from that knowledge perspective. But then what we also try to do in these sessions is build meaning, make it personally relevant for people, because it's that second piece of understanding how that knowledge applies to a person's own personal health situation is what feeds into the person's ability to commit to making lifestyle changes, to feel motivated to do the work, because this can be really hard work that we're encouraging people to do.
And so, who are these sessions designed for? Is it more for people who have underlying health problems or maybe have a family past with health problems, or can it be open to anyone who's interested in it?
Yeah, it's sort of all of the above. They are targeting Albertans over the age of 18, so they are adult focused, but really a lot of the content can be preventative. So for people who have that family history and are hoping to prevent the development of a health condition, as well as, a person where there's been a few red flags in regards to their health. And so this is the time to take some action, again, to prevent the development of a health condition. And then people who have been living with that chronic health condition who want an update in terms of current information or that support to implement change. Really, the sessions would apply to all of the above. They are free. You don't need a doctor's referral or to be part of any particular program. You just have to phone the Alberta Healthy Living Program to register.
Perfect. And when will these sessions be running?
Well, we have a variety of classes that are being offered on a regular basis, morning, afternoon, evening opportunities. So, hopefully classes will line up with people's personal schedules. Our cardiovascular series, which is called HeartWise, is going to be running March 9th and 16th in the afternoon from 1 to 3:30, as well as March 24th and 31st in the afternoon. But we offer education opportunities for diabetes, label reading, adult weight management. We also have classes for people who are wanting to improve stress management, sleep. And then we have another series called Better Choices, Better Health, which is a great opportunity. It's a 6-week course, but it's an opportunity for people who are living with that ongoing health condition, who want to take control of their health and improve their quality of life. So there's a lot of different offerings available, and we hope that that will meet the health education needs of our community members in Central Zone.
Perfect. Well, thank you for taking the time, Anita. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Joining us here today on Primetime Local News is country artist Lainey Wilson. Lainey, we're talking about your new album today, Saying What I'm Thinking. For this album, how does it compare to your first one? And, what really stands out to you creatively and personally on this album for you?
Yeah, so this is my first record that I've been able to release through a label. And so I'm talking about down to every word, every syllable, the production, everything that's gone behind it to get it to this point. I mean, we have gone through it with a fine tooth comb and made sure that it's all the way that it's supposed to be. And I'm so proud of this thing. And this is, like I said, it's not something that we've just kind of thrown together. We've been sitting on it for a while, and the timing feels right. And I'm so excited to share it with the world. It's called Saying What I'm Thinking, and I've been pretty much saying what I'm thinking my whole life. So I figured, why not call the record Saying What I'm Thinking? And can't wait to put it out there.
One of the hit singles on the album, Things a Man Ought to Know. I know it was very popular on this album. So give us a little overview of what that song's about.
Well, actually, when we sat down to write the song, we really were just talking about the things that my parents had taught me growing up, things that they thought were important things for me to know before I left and came to Nashville, and like how to back up a truck and trailer, how to turn a wrench, how to start a fire. And, just they were scared to send their little baby out into the world not knowing these things. So I learned how to do those things. But more importantly than that, we really got to digging into the characteristics that my parents taught me to look for in myself, but also in other people when I'm trying to find friendships or relationships, whatever it is, and at the end of the day, the song is it's about having good character. It's about treating people the way that you want to be treated. And it's about having discernment and the courage to do so. And that's not something that just a man ought to know. It's something we all need to know. And especially in times like today, we need to be kind to each other.
Who are some artists growing up that you really idolized and wanted to be like?
The first person that comes to my mind is Dolly Parton. And I don't know a single person who don't love Dolly. I mean, everything from her style, her sense of humor, her beautiful voice, her songwriting. She's an incredible businesswoman. Like, Dolly's just got it going on. Everything about Dolly. And more than anything, her heart. Her heart is just, you can just see it. She is a genuine, true person. And when I actually have a song called WWDD, What Would Dolly Do? And I always go back to that thought when I'm going through things, or, I always just think to myself, what would she do? And that's always the answer. And I firmly believe that if more people were like Dolly Parton, the world would be a much better place. But she's one of my main influences. Leanne Womack, I love Leanne's voice because that reminds me a whole lot of Dolly. I grew up listening to a lot of 90s country music, so the Shania Twain and the Faith Hill, and just so many people like that, I feel like have really made an impact on my sound and what I want to say.
You've had pretty big success so far. Lots of your music's being streamed, very popular. You're getting all this recognition now, Lainey. What does it mean to you personally when you hear all this about you, as well as seeing the success that your music is having?
It's a whirlwind for me. I've been in Nashville for 10 years, and the first 3 years I was here, I lived in a camper trailer. I was known as the camper trailer girl and was completely fine with it. But moving here, I knew deep in my heart, even though I wanted it to happen overnight, just like everybody wants it to happen overnight, I knew that it was going to take me a bit longer. I knew that I just had to stick it out. I had no plan B. I mean, this was it. This is the only thing I know how to do. This is what I love. And at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer if the Lord gives you gifts and talents, then you need to use it. And this was mine. And so there was no other option for me. This was it. And to see everything kind of come to fruition and really people starting to notice my music and really caring like what I have to say is, I won't say that I'm surprised because I've always known, and I had a weird sense of peace about knowing that this is it. But also it's, I feel very grateful and blessed, and I know that this is just the beginning.
One of the things we did talk about off camera that I didn't really know and I found really interesting was that you're actually good friends with Canadian country artist Megan Patrick. So just talk about how that friendship started and where it stands right now with you two.
So I met Megan the day she moved to Nashville, which is probably about 3 years ago. Literally, she got here, she dropped her stuff off at her apartment, and then she went to the show at Basement East. I met her with my friend Casey Tyndall, and we have been friends and buddies ever since. Like, as soon as I met her, I knew, like, I didn't even know Canadian people were as country as that, but she was like, she was dipping, and I was like, hold up. This girl, she is something. So she is there's nobody like Megan Patrick. I mean, she's one of a kind. I tell everybody she would fight a grizzly bear for me. And I know how hard that she has worked too. And I think that's why we're such good buddies, is because we've got each other's back, and we know, I know how much she deserves it and vice versa.
Well, Lainey, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. The new album, Say What I'm Thinking, is out now. You can also stream it on all major music platforms. Lainey, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, friend. I had so much fun. I appreciate you.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great night.